Hi, welcome to Tuesdays with Terra. I'm Terra Bundance, and today I'm going to talk about care of the soul. So, what does it mean to care for your soul? What does it mean to get really clear with how you take care of yourself on not just a physical and mental level, but at a soul level? When we think about our souls, we go to church or we go to spiritual centers or we go to synagogue or we go to whatever our personal calling might be in terms of our spiritual self. But I'm talking about something even deeper than that, your soul, your inner voice, your inner calling. And so when we look past the physical, when we look past the mental, when we look past the emotional, we even look past the spiritual, and we get to the place of the depth of our soul, is what I'm talking about today. Let's just take a second to take a deep breath. Just drop your shoulders. We're not going to do a meditation right now. We're just going to check in with our bodies and our minds and our emotions and our spirits, and then try to do what we can to really check in with our soul. Take another deep breath. Great. Okay, so when you check in with your physical self, how does your body feel? If you feel like you're tense anywhere, just kind of loosen that place up a little bit, or breathe into it and just say thank you. Thank you for this awareness. Good. How about your mental self? How are your thoughts right now? Are they all over the place? Are they scattered? Or are they really present and focused? If they're not present and focused, take a moment. Pause this video if you need to and just take some deep breaths and get more present with your mind. Let your mind be here now. Set all the other stuff aside for now. Good. Now, how are your emotions? How are you feeling? Are you feeling present? Are you feeling peaceful? Are you feeling frustrated? Are you feeling stuck? Are you feeling sad or happy and joyful? What are your feelings right now? Try to just get as present as you can. All right. So now that we're a little more present and we think about our spirit and our soul, your spirit is the piece of you that's looking for excitement or looking for the next thing to do. And your soul holds the place of what is yours to do. So our spirit kind of does a little bit of searching within the soul to know what spirit wants to do next and where it wants to take our body and our minds and our emotions. But our soul holds the knowing of who we are here to be, what we are meant to be doing, and kind of how we choose to be in the world. So when you're really checking in with your soul, it means taking some time to be really, really deeply tuned in to what you feel called to do next. And that could mean that your soul is holding a vision of something big on the horizon. And your soul's going to hold that vision. You don't need to remind your soul. It's there. It knows. It's more like when you check in with your soul and your soul's like, that's a little further in the future. In the meantime, what can I do today to get myself focused on that path? That's what I'm talking about, is in terms of checking in with our inner soul and our inner path. When we can check in with that path every day, it gives us permission and it gives us access to really having some clarity on where we go next and what we do next. Another piece to taking care of our soul is making sure that we're okay with who we are and how we show up in the world, no matter what anybody else might think. And so, of course, we have relationships and partnerships and friendships and communities and people in our lives that are affected by the choices that we make. And it's always important and necessary to stay connected to those people. And at the same time, we don't need someone else's permission to follow our inner soul or our inner guidance. And what we can do is communicate with the people in our lives and let them know, hey, this is what I'm feeling called to do next, or this is what I'm feeling called to do today or soon. And at the same time, we don't need to seek their approval or their acceptance of who we choose to be. And now that taps in a little bit to what it means to really be in relationship. So we can't be in a solid, healthy, vibrant, fulfilling, connected relationship with another person unless we have that same relationship with ourselves. And when I'm talking about care of the soul, I'm talking about having that relationship with ourselves first. And then that just spreading out, branching out, really, trickling out like the ripple effect to our relationships and to who we are connected with in our lives. And so when I'm talking about this piece, it makes me think about something that I read in Mark Nepo's book, The Book of Awakening, recently. He was talking about marrying your own soul. And when I thought about that, I was like, how often do we do that? How often do we as individuals give ourselves permission to be married to our own soul? What does that bring up for you when you think about marrying your own soul? Because a lot of times we're looking for other people to fulfill us or to complete us or to meet us somewhere and build something together. The thing is, that person isn't always going to meet you exactly where you need to be met. Those other people aren't always going to be able to fulfill your needs and desires. The only person that can do that is you. And so when we think about ourselves and we think about what it is that we are looking for when we're seeking out relationships, when we're seeking out partnerships or friendships or business relationships, are we doing the same kind of seeking within ourselves that we do externally when we're looking to connect with someone else? Ooh, this is a big one. So I'm really just going to ask you this week to check in with your inner soul. So when we think about what our soul calling is, I'm talking about right now. What's my soul calling me to do? What's my soul calling me to focus on today in the here and now? And another way that we can really take care of our soul is to be loving and caring to ourselves in the way that we would hope that others will be towards us. But it's not really their job. It's not anybody else's job to pat us on the back. It's not anybody else's job to give us support and care and comfort and peace, especially if we're not willing to give that to ourselves. And so, of course, we have humans. We need each other always. We definitely have multiple levels and layers and reflections and refractions of ourself in the body of the universe, as we are all multiple cells in one body. And then we bounce off of each other all the time. Is this mine to do? Is this mine to do? Yes or no? And when we ask ourselves the question, is this mine to do? More often than not, there's a clear yes or there's a clear no. Sometimes there's a clear I'm not sure. And in that moment, it's usually no until you have a clear yes. So it's more about getting present with every single moment of our days and our lives and our experiences so that we can really take in our life and we can really check in with the relationships that we have with others. This seems like a kind of a wispy or kind of untouchable subject. And I think that that's what's so great about it. We get to check in with ourselves every single day and how we take care of ourselves. And again, not just on a physical, mental, emotional, spiritual level, but at the soul level. So what is our soul calling us to do right here, right now, today? And don't get too caught up in the thoughts that come up around, well, I need to do dishes and I need to do laundry and I need to, mop the floor or whatever. Of course, I need to take care of my kids and my pets and my house and my family. And, I need to feed myself. Of course, those are all the things that are going to happen in our lives because we're humans living this spiritual experience. But we're going to this other level beyond all of that obvious stuff that we got to do. What is my soul calling me to do today? Try to ask yourself that question a lot in the coming days and weeks. What is my soul calling me to do right now? And as your soul answers, be with what it is that your soul might be telling you. And the thing about the soul is that is basically the genius of our lives. This genius lives within us that knows everything that we need, always, at all times. This genius is kind of what you might call God self, but it's bigger than intuition and it's bigger than inspiration. It's more about who we are and who we are meant to be in our own lives. And our soul, our inner genius, already knows that. So when we can tap into our inner genius and into our souls more and more often, we clear away the cobwebs, we clear away the shadows, we clear away the aspects of ourself that aren't really us. And we get down to the reality of what is mine to be and do in this life, in this reality, in this experience right here, right now. Your inner genius knows. Start forming a relationship with it. Some people would say it's God's self, but I think it's even more than that, because God's self is what's holding space for all of us to be here in the world and in the planet, on this planet and in this experience and in this existence. But God's self is holding the knowing of us as perfection. I'm talking about a soul calling. Why did you incarnate into this body? And that answer is going to change constantly, because it's not just about one goal. It's not just about one thing. It's about multiple things that get to come to life through us every single day. And with every single connection that we make, every single step that we choose to take on our path. And the soul is there in every step. The soul is there in every breath. And when we take a breath and we check in with our inner genius, our soul knowing, and ask it, what is being called for me to do now? The soul is there and the soul can answer. We just have to start fine tuning ourselves to listen more deeply, to know the truth of our answer. And so I'm going to just put that out there to you for this week. Ask yourself multiple times, what is my soul calling me to do right now? What is the next step on my path? What is the next thing for me to experience, express, process, do, be? That's what I'm talking about. Spend some time with your soul this week. And please share below any thoughts or any ideas that come to mind as you do this work. This is an exciting question, and I really look forward to practicing it with you this week. Thanks for joining me on Tuesdays with Terra. Have a blessed and beautiful week, and I'll see you next week.